A very good morning to viewers. As a part of our short video series, Mahadev and me will be covering aspects of e-way bill. The first thing would be possibly the dismal background with which e-way bill, e-invoicing and all is being forced, maybe more needed also in GST. We also would like to cover the concepts and what are the some of the issues which are in e-way bill and what do the courts say about this particular restrictive provision. I would start with the ground realities, which are that the quantum of grey economy in India is one of the causes of great concern. It is estimated to be around 30 to 40%. And if it is 40%, then these 40% are not paying the taxes, rightly or wrongly. And due to that, those who are paying a higher rate. Grey economy is expected to be more in North, East and Middle India. West and South India are more compliant. We have suppliers sending goods with proper registration and bill, registration with the authorities and a proper bill, but they disappear after 3 months, 6 months. And surprisingly, they are not traceable. This is something which is unacceptable. Suppliers within the state keep using documents repeatedly, including the e-way bill or an invoice. They keep using it for the same lot of goods again and again. Prior to 2017, the check posts were a cause of big concern and the posting to check posts was running into crores. The premium to be paid to the politicians or whoever was putting them was in crores. Now we find this has been replaced by the mobile squads. Now posting to mobile squads has become a very lucrative area. The question, some of the questions I have no solutions. Maybe only the finance minister and the prime minister have to put their heads together to answer these questions. Is there a nexus between politicians and these dealers, these errant dealers? The answer is it seems to be there all the time because they are protected. Are the officers conniving to enable the grey market? Yes, this is the tip of the iceberg. Iceberg is seen in the arrests which are made of deputy commissioners, commissioners, and the amounts which are found are in tens of crores. So obviously, it is an area where large amount of leakage seems to be there. Are there some trucking companies and fleets which do not get checked at all by the squad? That means they are the people who have the green channel due to them paying some large amounts of regular money, or maybe when needed also money is paid to the bureaucrats. Are e-way bills amended and used once the goods reach the destination? This is also very much possible and is being done. Especially within the state, this is very easy to be done, especially in the 2 and 3 tier cities where it's very difficult to monitor them. Is the grey economy flourishing more in the tier 2, tier 3 cities and towns where cash is king? The answer could be again yes. And very, very important point. Till now, we have seen right from 2018 onwards, so many restrictions for goods. What happens to services where there is no trace at all? I issue an invoice to Mahadev and that's it. Mahadev takes the credit, then I disappear. What will happen? Would e-invoicing stop and close this menace? Certainly it would, but as of now, the threshold limit is too high. Are minor errors in the e-way bill used to harass the honest taxpayer to see that targets are reached for looking the other way on rail evaders? This is also something which is a heartburn for the honest taxpayer. That why are we targeted when so many others, everybody knows that in the steel or in the plastic, there is a large scale evasion happening. They are identified. There is a seizure. there is a raid on them, but somehow or the other, it ends up with some small amount being offered to tax and everything being closed. So obviously these are the places where huge amount of manipulation is done. These are possibly the ground realities and many questions I'm raising. Some of them have no answers from my side. But let's understand the concept from Mahadev, and he will take you further.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, viewers. Um, Now we are going to understand the concepts of e-way bill. Then we are going to understand some of the burning issues in e-way bill, so which is resulting in huge penalties for even the honest taxpayers, even though there is a proof for payment of taxes. This e-way bill is not a new concept altogether in GST law. So this concept was there even in sales tax as well as the VAT regime. So in a few states like Karnataka, it was called as e-Sugam. There were few states like West Bengal or Uttar Pradesh wherein this concept was called as just way bill. And there was also manual bills which are being issued by the department in some of the states, and in some of the states like Karnataka, it was online. Now in GST, this is a online generated e-way bill which has been introduced. Even though in the big taxpayers, even for a minor discrepancies, say there is a wrong amount, instead of mentioning 1 lakh in my invoice or in my e-way bill, I have mentioned it as 10 lakhs. I have added 10 extra in the e-way bill compared to my tax invoice. So even the minor discrepancies like this is resulting in levy of 200% of tax as the penalty amount. So which is something which needs to be addressed. Um, then, as sir was mentioning, the concept of e-invoicing, which is presently there for all the taxpayers with a turnover of more than 50 crores. So this is something which can check the non-tax payment in case of few cases. Then the introduction of or the integration of FASTag and RFID with e-way bill. So this is also something which has been introduced from January 2021, which can come to the rescue of honest taxpayers. So there are many reports. Say, for example, a e-way bill has been generated with a particular vehicle number, but this vehicle is not passing a particular toll at all. So the officers can get to know whether there is a movement of such vehicle or not. If there is no movement, then they will get to know that there is no movement of the goods, but there is a generation of the e-way bill. Similarly, if a same e-way bill is being used for multiple transport of goods, so even in that case, it is very easy for the officers to identify because the FASTag and RFID system is going to track the number of times the vehicle has crossed a particular toll. So what are the common issues in e-way bill? One issue which has recently started is the increase of limit in the e-way bill. So from January 2021, the validity of this e-way bill has been restricted to 200 kilometers per day. Before January 21, this was 100 kilometers per day. So that means if the destination is 200 kilometers away, so you will get a validity of only 1 day for the e-way bill. So this is causing a lot of issues because there are many reasons due to which the transporter may not be able to reach the destination within a period of 24 hours or 1 day. There are also cases wherein the transporters have a central hubs wherein there will be a change in the vehicle. So these are some of the reasons due to which there can be delay in transport of the goods. But because these e-way bills are getting lapsed, because it is not getting transported within a period of 24 hours, so there is a penalty which is being levied in all these cases. So this is one recent issue which has come up due to increase in this limit to 200 kilometers per day. And there are many other minor discrepancies also which are possible. Say, for example, one example which we discussed is a mistake in the amount. The another example could be that there is a wrong destination. Say I was supposed to move the goods to a particular place in Bangalore, but instead of that, I got a new customer. Say before when the goods are in movement, I got a new order from a customer, then I decide to move these goods to my customer place instead of the original place wherein I had generated the e-way bill. So this is also a minor discrepancy, but in this case also there are penalties which are being levied. Sometimes there can be a mistake in the document number, say document number 123, but instead of 123 I'll mention 234. So this is also one discrepancy wherein the penalties are being levied. However, luckily considering all these minor discrepancies, there was one circular number 64/38/2018, which was issued in the month of September 2018, wherein they have listed around 6 different types of minor discrepancies wherein the penalty cannot exceed 1,000 rupees. However, unfortunately, so we have seen cases wherein the authorities are not considering this circular at all. So some of the officers are of the view that it is only optional for the officers to consider this circular because the circular starts with maybe. So that is something which needs to be addressed. Then there is also no clarity on where to file the appeal. Say for example, from Karnataka I want to transport the goods to Kerala. So what I'll do is I'll take the goods via Tamil Nadu. If there is some discrepancy, say the goods are intercepted in the state of Tamil Nadu and there is a penalty which is being levied. So where I should do the filing of appeal? Should I do it in Karnataka where I have my registration, or should I take a new registration in Tamil Nadu? So this is something which is not clear from the GST provisions. So now we will understand this circular which we just discussed. So what are all the different types of minor discrepancies which are allowed for levying penalty of only 1,000 rupees. So first is spelling mistake in the name of consignor or consignee. However, this is subject to condition that the GSTN is correct. Then if there is an error in PIN code but address is correct, then it is subject to only 1,000 rupees penalty. However, in this case, it needs to be ensured that the wrong PIN code which we are using is not increasing the validity of the e-way bill. Then error in consignee is addressed to the extent that locality and other consignee details are correct. Then if there is 1 or 2 digits of document number which is mentioned in e-way bill is not correct, this is also considered as a procedural lapse to levy 1,000 rupees penalty. Then if 4 digits or 6 digits of HSNs are being used, if first 2 digits of the HSN is correct and the rate of tax which is being mentioned on the document is correct, then also it is considered to be a procedural lapse. The last error which is allowed in the circular is error in 1 or 2 digits or characters of the vehicle number. Now the issue which arises, we'll take this last example which says that error in 1 or 2 digits or characters of the vehicle number. So what happens if there is error in 3 digits? What happens if there is an error in 3 digits of the HSN? So what happens if there is a wrong destination? So what happens if there is a wrong amount which is considered in e-way bill when compared to tax invoice? These are the different types of errors which are not covered in the circular. But if you carefully observe the circular, it says, as per the circular, the proceedings in section 129 may not be initiated inter alia in the following situation. So now it is very important for us to understand what is the meaning of this inter alia. So this is a Latin term which means that among other things. So that means there are many things. Out of this, these are few. So the list which is there in this circular can be considered to be only as a illustrative list. So the entire or complete objective of this circular can be understood that if there are any minor lapses or if there are any procedural lapses with respect to documentation or with respect to the content of the documentation, then there should not be a higher penalty under section 129. But the penalty should be restricted only to the extent of 1,000 rupees. Even many High Court decisions have taken a liberal view, and luckily, some of the decisions of these High Courts have considered that this circular is covering only the minor issues, and if there are any minor issues which are not covered in this circular, even those can be covered in this list. So now we are going to understand some of the important High Court decisions. Remember, this is only a list of a few important High Court decisions. There are at least 40 to 50 High Court decisions with respect to e-way bill, which are very, very important for us to understand. However, to cover this procedural lapses, I am discussing few decisions of these High Courts. So first decision is Synergy Fertichem Private Limited versus State of Gujarat. This is a Gujarat High Court decision. In this case, there was an argument that the circular, if you see the list of errors which are there in this circular, these are all the minor discrepancies, and therefore this section 129 penalty should be levied only when there is a major discrepancies. This circular is a proof that if there are any minor discrepancies, then the penalty cannot exceed 1,000 rupees, especially when there is no intention to evade tax payment. In this case, there was a import of goods because the shelf life of this import of goods was very, very less. What this CHA did is he transported the goods immediately when the goods are arrived into the custom station. Considering that it has a very short shelf life, he forgot to take note of this e-way bill requirement. Then the goods were intercepted. Then as soon as this was known to this assessee, the e-way bill was generated and the e-way bill was produced before the authorities. Then court also considered this point, and the court said that when there is no intention and when there is a proof of payment of tax by way of bill of entry, there cannot be a penalty under section 129. Next important decision is TVL RK Motors versus State Tax Officer. So this is a Madras High Court decision. So in this case also, the court relied on the circular number which provides for a lower penalty. So in this case, there was a wrong destination. The goods were supposed to go to a destination A, but the goods were moved to destination B. So when the goods were on way to destination B, the goods were caught and there was a demand for paying the penalty. Then in this case also the court held that when there is no intention to evade any tax, the officers need not be harsh in levying this penalty. Then the other decision is moderate of GST. In this case, the e-way bill was not done on the same day, but when the goods were intercepted, before the order for seizure was passed, the e-way bill was generated and it was produced before the authorities. Then in this case also the court held that this is a procedural lapse and there should not be any seizure of goods or vehicle, and the demand of tax or penalty was not right. That is what the court held in this case. The other issues which can come up in this e-way bills is what happens if there is a wrong rate of tax which is mentioned? What happens if there is a wrong valuation? What happens if there is a wrong classification of the goods? Whether the authorities or these mobile squads can question these aspects when they are checking for the e-way bill. The courts have held that the authorities cannot hold the goods or seize the goods for these reasons. If the documents are proper, then the goods have to be released. One decision which is there is KP Sugandh Limited versus Commissioner. So in this case, the officers found out that there was a undervaluation of the goods, but still the court held that if there is an undervaluation of the goods, there cannot be a detention of the goods. Maximum these authorities can inform the concerned authorities that there is an undervaluation of the goods, but because of that reason, the goods cannot be detained. Another important decision was Hindustan Coca-Cola Private Limited versus Assistant State Tax Officer. This is a Kerala High Court decision. In this case, the detention order was quashed by this High Court on the ground that there was a bona fide case of dispute in the classification of the goods. When there is an interpretational issue due to which the taxpayer has used a particular classification, then that cannot be the reason for detaining the goods, and the High Court order for release of these goods. So these important points are giving an indication that the courts will take a liberal view whenever there is a procedural lapse and there is no intention to evade payment of taxes. So it is my humble request that whenever the taxpayers are facing these issues, so please consider that if there is only a procedural lapse, then the higher penalties need not be paid. All these cases can be contested. Hope this session was useful. So thank you very much. I request you to give your feedbacks or suggestions on the mail IDs which are listed. Thank you very much.